Aloha. Guys, I'm so excited to be here with you today, and I hope that you can get excited too, because the topic we're going to introduce is just mind-blowingly fascinating. Yeah, I want to start by making a guarantee. I guarantee that there's going to be at least one concept I'm going to share with you today that is going to immediately change the way that you interact with other people for the better. Say, Chris, that's amazing.
Chris, that's amazing.
I know. But wait, there's more. I also guarantee to you that some of you will take these concepts and start digging deeper on your own, and you're going to find that these concepts that you implement can actually benefit you financially. Say, Chris, are you serious?
Chris, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Finally, everyone here is going to benefit from this on a social level. Okay, you're going to find that body language is really like this hidden superpower that you have inside. And I'm so excited to share it with you. That's 3 guarantees. Now, there's 3 kinds of people here today. Okay, there's the academically and professionally ambitious student, right? You want that skill set to be able to help you advance your career, and I'm going to tell you that the material I have today is really focused on that. The second group is the socialite group, or the wannabe socialite, right? There's a social butterfly, or Chris, I'm not comfortable with people, please help me. And I'm telling you, I've got material for you too. Now there's a third group, and some of them are among the ambitious group and also the socialite group, and that's the group that's here looking for love. Don't get uncomfortable, man. I'll be the first to say this is not a dating seminar, but I'm going to throw a couple nuggets out for you to chew on, and it's going to help you with that dating life. All right, is that good?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to break a little bit away from tradition and telling you where I started, how I got to where I am, but I'll answer that happily in the question section. I really felt that timing is everything. In the next few weeks, you will have all kinds of employers like I Am Flash and others coming onto campus for career fairs, looking for interns, looking for employees. And I want you to be able to start practicing now and thinking about that and going. So tell me who my seniors are. Let me see this group. Seniors, getting ready. The light is at the end of the tunnel, right? Good. Juniors? Okay. Sophomores? Both of those groups, it's internship time, right? And my freshmen. Yeah! That's awesome, because you have the most time to start thinking about this and practicing it, right? I'm going to jump right in. We're going to talk about power, body language, and first impressions. And I thought it'd be fun to start with asking you, what have you heard about body language? Think about things your mom used to tell you. Don't put your hands in your pockets. When you're talking to someone, stand or sit up straight. Don't cross your arms. Use good eye contact. All these things, and I'm going to tell you there's definitely truth to all of those, but body language is not black and white. This is a science that has everything to do with context. You know, one of the things they say is when someone's lying, they start kind of itching that nose. They call it the Pinocchio nose, and they might start touching that nose a little more. But guess what? It's allergy season too. So if we're talking about something important, I start itching my nose. I got allergies. You don't want to think I'm lying. So anyone who teaches kind of like a black and white science to body language just doesn't have it quite right. It's all about context, and you need to think about that as we go into these next subjects. Please. So let's start the battle of the sexes. By show of hands, when we're observing body language in other people or nonverbal communication, who thinks that there's more activity in the brains of women going on? Okay, men. Who wants to sit on the fence and say both? Okay, the correct answer is women. In fact, women, there's 14 to 16 parts of the brain that's active, and with men it's 4 to 6. And look, guys, this makes total sense, right? It's like my wife back here, Melanie. There she is, beautiful Melanie. She'll be like, oh my goodness, did you see how she was looking at him? And I'll say, no. Right? Amen. This is how important our nonverbal communication is. Anywhere from 60 to 93% of a message that we send to someone is done on a nonverbal basis. So think when I come here and I say, you know, with my words, I'm so excited to be here with you, versus, I'm so excited to be here with you. Right? Our words are powerful, but the way we say it is even more powerful. Dale Carnegie summarizes it in 4 ways that we judge people. The first is what they do. The second is how they look to us. The third is what they say. And the fourth is how they say it. Right? So when you think about body language in that arena, think that it's way more important when you have an important meeting on how you say it to someone. It means a whole lot more. So everything I teach you, the way I sleep good on my pillow at night, is that I teach the science of people. Science of People is a human research lab out of Portland, Oregon. All of the studies that I use are peer-reviewed, published, academic studies that we know these are principles in the science of people and body language. So this is something that will resonate very interestingly to you. There's this professor, Stephen Sessi, and he taught a class at his university. He had one period where he exhibited what we will teach you as power body language and came across as very confident. And in the other class, he decided to use low power body language, so being very unsure of himself, unconfident. He took these criteria: instructor knowledge, organization, accessibility, the textbook quality and fairness in grading, and his hypothesis was that instructor knowledge and accessibility would be rated higher among the class, the students who were in the power body language class. He said those two would be higher. What he found was every single one of those criteria were rated higher in that power body language class. And isn't that amazing? Think about this, because it's what we call the halo effect. When we meet someone who comes across to us as confident, we start seeing them as more competent. You come across as more confident, people perceive you as more confident. Isn't that one of the most interesting? Textbook quality. He didn't even write that thing himself. But those students really felt that the material in his book was more valuable to them, that it was a higher quality because he exhibited more confidence in the way he came across to his students. Cool. So where can we start? I'm going to tell you it's in first impressions. And it's because that's when we first meet someone. And I'm going to share a study with you that's really going to illustrate this. Frank Bernieri, and this is going to be for all of you here looking for a job or an internship or anything like that. He did a study where he had the job candidates come in, he recorded them and videotaped them from the moment they came in and sat down through 20 minutes of the interview. He had a separate group rate them on warmth, competence, and confidence. He took that same video and he spliced it down to the first 20 seconds of the meeting. This was the student coming in, or the candidate coming in, sitting down, not saying a word, and then he'd cut it off. He judged them on the same things. What do you think they found? It was practically the same. Wah! Right? It's one of those, wah! I didn't say a word. And they rated me the same as if I sat with them for 20 minutes. That tells us so much about the first initial contact we have with someone, right? It is lasting. For better or for worse, someone's going to have a bias on whether they like you or not. You know, there was an interesting study done with TED Talks. Have any of you watched those TED Talks? There's so many cool ones. They took this study and they looked at TED Talks with the exact same subjects. Okay, they were talking on the same subject matter. Some of them had, 20,000 views, while other ones had 200,000 plus. And they said, what was the difference? You know what they found? It was when that speaker first came out, they acknowledged the crowd. I don't have any more for you. They acknowledged the crowd. Right? So a lot of times it's just understanding that people have that need to be acknowledged when we make our first impression. I'm going to share 4 things with you today that are really just going to be scratching the tip of the iceberg. And I want you to ask more questions from me at the end. But the first one is called our trust indicators. Now here's a fun question. What part of the body do you feel like we notice first in a person when we first meet them? That initial impression. Okay? You don't need to answer out loud, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you say it's the eyes or the face, that is the most popular answer. Would you believe that it's the hands? What? I was wiped out by this as well. Now, you've got to understand that a lot of what we take in with our eyes visually is not done necessarily on a conscious level, right? It's why we can walk down the street and not step on the cracks and be breathing and swallowing at the same time and hearing something in the distance. We do so many activities with our brains, right? We notice the hands first, and this is back to our instincts. If you were to meet me for the first time and I came up to you and we're in a dark alley, again, context, right? If I have my hands in my pocket or behind me, how do you think she's going to feel? Scared. Kind of like, at a minimum, nervous, right? Like, what is he hiding from me? And it's the same thing with us. What they found is that jurors will find defendants a lot less trustworthy if they don't have their hands there. Some of the people I work with are attorneys. And this is definitely something we talk about. Your defendant needs to have hands visible at all times, above the table, just because of the bias that we can create in a first impression. Fascinating. So what we want is visible and expressive hands. This doesn't mean you have to gesture. Life isn't like this stage where we're gesturing for every word we say. Hi, my name is Chris. I'm so cool, But there's a spectrum. We want to keep it above the desk, avoiding pockets. And we'll talk about handshakes here in a moment because there's some fascinating science behind handshakes. Really, there's this spectrum in everything I talk about. There's not a right or wrong body language gesture. I just want you to understand where it falls on a spectrum and have you decide what's me, right? What is the authentic me? My highest and best self, the way I see myself acting and sounding and feeling, that's what I want here because it's about being authentic. So, being real stiff and not talking about, not moving at all, gesturing at all, can come across as someone who's not very sure of themselves. Someone who's all up in your face and gesturing all over the place can be pretty repulsive to us, right? Now, context. If you're up on a stage doing a presentation, if you're talking about a big idea, you gotta get big, right? The bigger the stage, the bigger the hand gestures. But if you're talking with someone, we talk generally about staying in that strike zone. When you're talking to someone, what's natural is just staying right in here, being expressive. It's not overboard. Can you guys feel that? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yes, Chris.
Thank you, Ray. So, a good handshake is worth 3 hours of FaceTime. Is that not another statistic that goes, remember, this is all based on science, right? I'm not making this up. I said, how is this possible? It's called haptics, the power of touch. Did you know that in our brains we release a hormone called oxytocin? Has anyone ever heard of oxytocin? Raise your hand. Do you know what the nickname for oxytocin is? It's the cuddle hormone. Yeah, it is the cuddle hormone. This is like our chemical connection to other people. So when we shake hands with someone, we actually release oxytocin in ourselves and in the other person. And it helps us automatically feel connected to them. So, John, could I have you come help me out?
Yeah, sure.
We're going to talk about what a good handshake is. So, here's some quick tips. Vertical, dry, and firm. Now, let me preface this. Has anyone ever had someone come shake their hand like this? Over the top? Yeah? Or, hey, underneath, right? These two behaviors are very distinct. Someone coming over the top is in a very dominant, demonstrating a very dominant type behavior, while someone who's coming underneath is showing something very vulnerable. And so the reason why I say stay vertical is to show this nonverbal respect to someone, to say, hey, we're on equal footing. We start our relationship as equals, and I'm happy to, right? Now, if you want to see some fun little charades with handshakes, look on YouTube and you're going to see world leaders who have to jockey for that dominating position. You're going to see something like this, right? And he'll clasp it, Mr. President, and then he'll come and put it right on his elbow, you know? Right? And if the guy gets the best of him there, usually when he's walking away, thanks, John, give him a hand. He'll pat him on the back. Gotcha. See ya. Right? So I want you to turn and practice the person next to you. I want you to think this person next to you will stand up and do this is that potential employer that you really want a job at. Okay? So introduce yourself. Good handshake. Try and put those webs, go web to web. Boom. Okay? Go ahead and try that. Let me see that. Hey, I'm Chris.
I'm Sammy.
Sammy, nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you guys. Sorry, like right in the front, I'm like just like using you guys because it's like awesome. Thanks so much. Perfect.
How's it going?
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll be like coming from the side like that, like.
With the bros, it's okay. Just context. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let me just address a couple things. I heard, hey, what if I like to come in like bam, right? And I said, that's good for the bros, but if I'm an employer, right, and we're meeting at the career fair, don't come in like hot, man. I just want that good, nice, vertical firm. I'm Chris Cook. It's nice to meet you, right? I also saw, just out of reflex, some people come up and domination, you know. So this is something you might want to just practice a little. Remember, a good handshake is so important to set the right tone. Just make it nice, vertical, and upright. Ooh, this one's fun. Purposeful gazing. So we talked about trust indicators being our hands. That's what we want to think about first. When we come up to someone, it's our hands. Hi, I'm Chris, right? Nice handshake, boom. Now I want to talk about where we're looking on purpose. You have to be purposeful on how you gaze with someone. And I'm going to tell you, this is the second way that we release oxytocin. You know, on YouTube, I've seen lately, there's some videos on there where it's like, watch these complete strangers gaze into each other's eyes, and after a minute, they're like in love or like empathetic towards each other's situations. They come from different walks of life and they're friends now. It's because they are releasing tons of oxytocin. Not as much as when you touch someone, okay? But you also release oxytocin when you have good eye contact with someone. And I'm going to explain what good eye contact is, because there's a whole lot of places that have different explanations. In the wild, there are 3 types of gazing patterns that we witness. This is naturally power gazing, social gazing, and intimate gazing.
For all 3 kinds of students, right?
Yeah, for the 3 kinds of students. Power gazing happens up high. And where do you think you might find power gazing? It's like the eyes, and when I say power gazing, it's not like burning into someone's like forehead and staying like nailed there. This is where their eye patterns are going, is between the eyes, up high on the head, and in your forehead here. Where do you think you might see this? Think the workplace. Where could you see it in the workplace? Oh yeah. You're going to see that CEO a lot of times. He'll come up and he's just talking to his people like that. It's an alpha behavior. It's not a dominating behavior, but it's an alpha behavior. So I'm going to ask you to practice this one especially today. And I'm looking specifically at the women in the group. Women in the workplace. Empower yourself, right? It's not about, again, this is not about domination at all. This is about giving yourself that equal footing with anybody. So, yes.
So you're saying you appear more powerful when you're looking at their eyes and forehead?
So again, non-verbally we are sending signals, right? I'm telling you how to send it and how to also understand how someone feels about you, really. This goes both ways. If I go up to someone and I am mutually gazing with them with power gazing, I am sending certain signals to them.
Yeah, but like, how do you actually do it?
Yeah, we're going to practice that in a sec.
Okay.
Thank you. So, the second type of gazing is social gazing, and this is where I fall naturally. Again, from Hawaii, right? We're like friends to everybody. Aloha. You want to be in there, and it's really, when you're talking to your friends, if we were to take snapshots of you, you're going to probably be gazing right here on their face for most of the time, okay? And finally, the intimate gaze, not a dating class. However, it probably doesn't go as low as you think. It's to the suprasternal notch. That's where like your 2 collarbones meet right there in that gap. It's coming all here. We look a lot at the neck and at the cheekbones, those features, you know, and a potential match. It's a beautiful thing, except if you're in the workplace and you're married, right? So if you are talking business with someone and they're looking at you like this, yeah, at least you know where they stand, right? So what I want to do is practice this. When we look at, you know, say good eye contact. We're going to practice the power gazing, not the intimate gazing, okay? Just to be clear, I got someone real excited over here who just wants to intimate gaze with anybody and everybody. I love it. Okay. I have been on multiple sales teams where they said, look, you lock eye contact with that person, whoever looks away first loses. They lose that deal. Don't look away. Don't look. She's good. So they tell you that, but you know what? It really comes across to us as really creepy. You know, I was interviewing someone for a video that they were making to really display themselves, and they were drilling into my eyes with their drills. You know, it was like, why are you looking at me like that robot? It's creepy. Now, on the other side, if you're talking to someone and they just won't look at you, how does that make you feel?
Like their mind's somewhere else.
Their mind's somewhere else? Maybe they got something to hide, right? If I'm asking you a question and you can't look at me, it's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? So really, if we want to find more ideal, I would say it's in that 60 to 70% range. We're not looking down when we're looking away, but when I talk to someone generally, I'll look away first. I want them to feel comfortable with me. I look away off to the side. I help them picture something that's beautiful, you know, then come back to it. It's a great conversation. Practice your eye contact. So I want you to think, again, in the employer setting, we're going to the career fair, we're meeting this new employer. Step up there, introduce yourself, tell them what you study, and do power gazing. See how that feels. Ready? Go. Stand up and do it. It's easier that way. That's how you're going to meet them. Standing up. Shake that hand.
You gotta be powerful and stare them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, make yourself big, right?
Not necessarily. Yeah, making yourself big. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Question.
Yeah.
Whenever I meet somebody new, I usually go for a handshake, and like I go here and I look in their eyes, like, is that okay? Or is that,
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid to miss. You know?
You don't miss. All right. Raise your hand if that felt just crazy awkward. Did that feel awkward? Okay. Again, this is not to say, so you asked how you do it. The answer is, it's supposed to come naturally, right? You're not like looking at someone's forehead, because then they're going to be like, what is on my forehead? Do I have a zit? Right? Something is going to, and you don't want them to feel weird. And the other thing is, your intention here is not like, I'm going to dominate you, right? You have a question.
Yes. What do you do with your hands? So you were talking about eyes.
Yes.
But what do you do with your hands?
So that's a real interesting question. It kind of reminds me of that Talladega Nights show movie when Ricky Bobby, he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Right? This is what comes naturally to you. So there's no good gesture, but remember, we had just met someone, we shook their hands, and now we're just staying in the strike box.
Trying to
Yeah, again, we're not like scripting out what we're saying and every motion. This is just, we're staying in that strike box when we're being visible and expressive with our hands. Good question. Good question. Okay, so we've talked about trust indicators. We've talked about the way that we are purposefully looking at others. And again, just to summarize, not only are we able to send messages to others by the way we gaze on them, we can actually understand where we stand with someone else by the way that they're gazing with us as well. It takes practice to start seeing this, but practice it because it's totally worth it. It is totally worth it to be able to more effectively communicate with someone else, right? The third one is called fronting. Karamov, University of Brussels, he had a study, and he showed that when we view someone straight on, we see them as more trustworthy. We're not going to talk politics here, but I just want to illustrate that you have the people who want you to see a person straight on versus the others who want to paint him in a different light, not showing him straight on. Also with the face, right? The media knows this science very, very well. If they want you to feel a certain way about a certain person, they can change that impression on you. Okay? So fronting is thinking about the toes, the torso, and the top. This is the highest form of nonverbal respect that you can give to someone. So when you come up and meet with them, and they see that you are fully engaged with your entire body pointing in their direction, it's saying, I'm here with you, I'm present. Now, the interesting thing is that our feet are the ones that actually indicate where our biggest interest is usually. So when you're at a networking event or meeting someone and there's food over there, it's very possible that their feet can be turned when they're talking to you. And this is where you pick up these subtle indicators of, hey, we could be talking about something very interesting, but the food's there. So to be a more authentic communicator with them, wouldn't it be awesome if you had that superpower and said, hey, you want to grab a bite? Like, let's go over there and continue our conversation. Wow, that guy read my mind. I'm hungry. Likewise, if you're talking to someone and the exit's over there and they're like this, what does that tell you? Hurry it up, man. You might have something really important, but it could be that you say, hey, you know what? I bet you're in a hurry. Let me just shoot you an email. I'll get you that information. Boom, off on their way. I still like Chris, right? He's a cool guy. That guy is awesome. He's a good communicator. So this works sitting in groups, everything. It's, again, being present, yeah? Who has a cell phone? Raise it up high. Like, not your cell phone, but your hand. Who has a smartphone? Who doesn't have a cell phone with them today? One. That's awesome. Right? I mean, I bet you she's a lot more present in her day-to-day than a lot of us here. Technology, in a lot of ways, it's making us dumber and dumberer. It really is, right? So we're having to relearn these things. When we talk to someone, you want a good launch stance. So what I'm going to ask you to visualize is you going up to that recruiter. A lot of people, they get shifty. They look like they're up there dancing, right? What dance move is this, people? I don't know. But they can't like stay in one place, and it starts making people like nervous. Like, what are you doing? So you got to get this good launch stance going. If you have problems, if you have a shifty stance, I want you to just practice at home. This doesn't have to be in front of anybody. But I tell my people, when I work with political candidates especially, you stay on that one leg just like you're a flamingo, and you just deliver your points. And when you want to go to the next point, you get on that other leg and you deliver that point. Then when you're ready, then you can start like kind of distributing it there. But you really need to just make those points when you're talking with someone to feel comfortable with you and to communicate authentically and send all the messages that you're really trying to send them. Have a good launch stance. Any questions on that? Okay, turn to the person next to you. I want you to stand up. Again, we're building on this, right? I want you to introduce yourself. Have those good visible hands. Good handshake, right? What was the next one? What? Purposeful gazing. Good launch stance. Okay? Go for it. Hey, take it easy.
Jared, so we're talking about this really differently now. It's almost like a battle.
No battle. Intention. Right? All right, thank you. We're going to move along to the last point so we can get through it. Okay, thank you so much. The last thing we're going to talk about is our vocal power. There's 4 areas. I'm going to go over them quickly. The first one is talking in your natural low tone. So I want you to go, You don't want to get like so low for yourself that it's too. This for me, this is my natural low tone. The problem is if I talk up here and we're just like talking the whole time, you're going to be like, whoa, that guy's talking really high for himself. Because we can identify in other people when they're talking above their register. And what it sends to them non-verbally is a message that I am talking to an immature person. Not the teenager, immature, fighting with parents all the time, but I'm talking to a baby, right? I'm talking to someone who can't understand the concepts and wisdom that I can impart on them. So they really don't talk to you the way they should. So use the lowest end of your natural low tone. The second one is to avoid the question inflection. And you tell me if you've heard this before. When they're talking, everything that they're saying ends on an up note, like they're not sure of themselves, and it's like asking instead of saying. This is horrible, especially in a sales environment. Imagine going to buy that car you want and you say, how much is it? And they say, $20,000. What does that make you think? Are you sure? Yeah. How about I give you 15? 15? 10, right? And it's never ending uncertainty. And it's horrible. It's crept into our culture like mad. You're going to hear it all the time now, and I'm sorry, but you're going to get annoyed with it because it always happens. What's your name? My name's Chris. Like, are you sure? Yeah. So, what I'm going to tell you is purposefully start trying to do a downward inflection, especially if you have a lot of up talk. I want you to talk down. My name's Chris. You know, if a police officer comes up to your car, he can ask a question while using a downward inflection. Give me your license and registration. Or even, do you have your license and registration? Right? I'm Chris. How much is the car going to be? $20,000. You don't like that? Now it's $22,000. Okay? You see the level of confidence that it portrays to someone else? Practice using a downward inflection.
I didn't get it.
Say it, don't ask it. We can talk about it a little more after. In fact, grab me.
I didn't understand what like the difference between your...
The inflections? Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll come up to you and I'll definitely get you on that track afterwards. Thanks. The last one is, or the third one is vocal variance. So change the pace of how you're talking to someone. If you listen to someone who's monotone the whole time, it just gets really boring. We all know that one. That one's easy. Bueller. Bueller. Exactly. That's perfect. And the last one is put emotions in, like for real. You know, how you talk with your close friends, and man, when you get excited, you get excited. Oh my gosh, I can't believe versus being dry. So this is all about becoming more authentic. We're not going to take this time out here. I just want you to know that we just started scratching the surface today, and I hope that you can see that innately you all have this hidden superpower inside of you. When you can relearn, because we already know body language, right? When you can relearn how to identify these things in you, you start earning that S. Right there. And it's like a superpower. So let me go with some questions. Probably got a couple minutes. Heidi, a couple minutes. I can answer a few of those. Throw it at me. Let's do it. Yes, in the back.
Chris, how do you do it when you're nervous? I interview people all the time, and they don't always portray themselves. How do you get over it when you're nervous?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I appreciate that. You know, there's a lot of different things that we can do when we're nervous. I would say, first of all, you never want to try and say, calm yourself down when you're in a nervous state, because being nervous is a heightened emotion. It's way easier to say, I'm excited about this. I get to talk to someone about a job I really want. So even though I might feel nervous, I'm even more excited. You see how you kind of shift yourself into that? Now, if you're going to get up and do a presentation or something, which can be nerve-wracking, there's a couple things that speakers do in the backstage. If you ever watch Tony Robbins, he does get himself all psyched up. Ah! And then he walks out on stage like all normal. He's like, yeah! Okay. He gets up there, man. You can also actually lightly rub your suprasternal notch. It's what a lot of babies do, and women do it to comfort themselves a lot. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? What did he say? Have you seen that? They grab it. This is learned from when you're a baby in the crib. Oh my gosh. So some speakers actually lightly rub that suprasternal notch, and don't overdo it because then it's going to be crazy red and then you're going to look crazy, right? But I have a collar on, I could do it. Great question. Who had another question? Yes.
So one thing that I've kind of been wondering is what to do with your hands and arms when you talk to people. And I think we already went over that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because I've heard that when you fold your arms like this, it exhibits like I'm closed. I'm not really interested in what you're doing or saying. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you just don't know what to do. It's like, and you kind of look excited, but at the same time, just folding the arms kind of gives off the image that you don't want to give off.
Yeah.
And I understand that putting hands in the pockets is probably not the best either.
Yeah.
So oftentimes the only thing I revert to is like, for example, if I got my backpack on, is like putting my thumbs behind the strap right here.
Yeah, I'm the cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, girl?
I don't know.
That's smooth, man. Pretty much everyone has that question, right? Don't make it unnatural. But I'm going to tell you, you know, like folding arms and stuff. It's not always the worst thing. There have been studies that say that you don't retain nearly as much information in a classroom setting when you have your arms folded. Okay? It doesn't mean someone's not interested in what you're saying, though, or that you're like purposefully closing off. But I would try to just start consciously using your hands, just visibly and expressively. Again, not scripted. That's so fake. We want authenticity. Thank you.
I feel like the same question, but when you're listening to someone,
Yeah.
it's really hard because you just like.
Oh yeah. So. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, babe. That's good. Great question. So I would say when you're listening to someone, you know, there's a whole lot of science on this. There's something called the triple nod, and I'll just part with that as my last little tip here. The triple nod is a powerful, powerful tool. When you tilt your head sideways just a little bit and give that slow nod, it's saying, say more. Speak on. Beautiful, you beautiful creature. When people talk about themselves more, you know what? They actually start liking you more. Man, that guy is so awesome. He didn't even say a word, right? He's just, he listened to my whole story, you know? So I would say, go ahead and you know, to be engaged, use that triple nod. And if you want to get out of there faster, do a fast triple nod. Turn those feet, everything. Get out of there. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do now. Thank you so much. What I want to say is, look, tackle these one skill at a time. Practice one thing, one of the 4 things. Cycle through that. The learning doesn't stop here. There's so much science on cool, like facial expressions and stuff. And then use your stuff for good, not evil. Thank you so much. Thank you.